Every year I do a workshop at the Grand Canyon. It's called Spark a Dream. You can find out about it at sparkadream.com. It's a great event. I hope you come one of these years. We do 2 days in the classroom talking about very practical strategies for setting and achieving big goals. And then our third day we walk along the rim of the Grand Canyon. What better place to dream big dreams? And you know, every year I have a couple people call me up or send me an email and say, I'm going to try to be at the next one. And you know what I always say? Gee, we'll miss you. Because I know 100% of the time when someone says, I'm going to try, they don't do it. They don't show. Of course, they always have an excuse. Well, at least I tried. That great philosopher Yoda said, do or do not. There is no try. And that is the power of intention. You don't try. You make a commitment to do it. I'm Joe Ty, CEO of Values Coach, and your coach for this course on the 12 Core Action Values. And today we're talking about Module 33, Intentionality, the second cornerstone of Core Action Value number 7, Purpose. When you have the power of intention, you have genuine positive thinking. You know, a lot of people mistake the difference between positive thinking and wishful thinking. Wishful thinking is hoping for something and waiting for it to happen, waiting for somebody else to make it happen. You know, it is a sad commentary on America and the erosion, the deterioration of the American dream. I read recently that some polling organization had done a survey and they asked, what is the American dream? You know, the American dream used to be building a business, making a difference, owning your own home. You know what the top 2 things on this list were when people were asked, what is the American dream? Winning the lottery and winning a big liability lawsuit against somebody else. In other words, having somebody give you money that you didn't have to earn because you don't have the gumption and the courage to go out and do something yourself. What a sad commentary. That is wishful thinking. Positive thinking, on the other hand, is expecting something and then working to make it happen. And when you are a positive thinker, you create mental expectations. You create what Martin Seligman called learned optimism. You create what I call memories of the future. When you're willing to do whatever it takes, when you're intentional about how you spend your time, how you spend your money because you're focused on your goals, you become a force of nature. About almost 30 years ago, about exactly 30 years ago, Tom Peters and Bob Waterman wrote a book, probably one of the best-selling business books of all time, In Search of Excellence. And in that book, they described 8 characteristics that their so-called excellent companies all exhibited. And today, Peters says, really only one of those 8 tests, or 8 characteristics, stands the test of time, and that is they have a bias for action. Instead of sitting around thinking, instead of sitting around wishing, they take action. And here's one of the things we teach people at the Spark a Dream conference, is that if you have a big dream, you don't want to throw the dice and take a lot of risk. You take small steps. But I want everybody to come out of that conference with 2 things. 1, a 100-day plan. What are you going to do in the next 100 days to help you build momentum in moving toward that goal, that dream? And second, a prototype. A prototype is a working model. It is something to get you started. When Lee Iacocca was the CEO of Chrysler Corporation, he got all of his engineers together and said, we don't have a convertible here at Chrysler. We need a convertible. Get me a prototype. They came back a few days later and said, it'll take 9 months. And he said, you don't understand. I want a prototype and I want it tomorrow. Go down in the parking lot, get a car and a hacksaw and cut the top off. He had his prototype the next day. When you think, when you're intentional, when you're urgent, you have a sense of urgency, you're building prototypes, that's when you get things done. Now, I absolutely believe that you can remember the future more clearly and more accurately than you can remember the past. And when you have that mental picture of what I want my future to be, when you're committed, when you're intentional about doing the things you need to do to make it happen, it does become a memory of the future. Almost inevitable. The only question is not if, When is it going to happen? Let's wrap up with a focus on another of the promises of the Self-Empowerment Pledge, Wednesday's promise. Wednesday's promise on determination says, I will do the things I'm afraid to do, but which I know should be done. And sometimes this will mean asking for help to do that which I cannot do by myself. That is intentionality. If you internalize that promise, you make it real. You make that dream become your memory of the future. And I'll see you next time.